I mean, there's also just the consideration around our agreement with the refinery to pay for crude in naira, and that means that they don't have to source for FX. Unlike, well, now they do have to source for FX if they're getting from as far as the US and other countries outside of the continent.
Yes.
Um, we were talking about you started to mention the conversation around standard or quality of the fuel that's imported versus what the Dangote refinery is putting out, and we've been curious as to whether you would suggest it that the regulator should require marketers to publicly indicate what the quality of their fuel is, because a marketing strategy for the Dangote refinery recently has been to say that, look, our fuel actually burns slower, it's of better quality, it's more healthy, all of that, versus what is being imported. Do you think that we'll get to a point where the regulator will actually require everybody to state what the quality of their fuel is?
I think that's important. That's critical. I think for a sector like this, if you go to filling stations abroad, you will see that quality is specified on the dispensing unit. You typically see three or four various qualities as to sulfur content and all of that. So I think it's critical. I think we should get there. Of quality, practically speaking, I have met people. In fact, if you go to certain, I don't want to mention marketers unless, that's not a challenge for you. If you go to certain filling stations, you see long queues, not because of the price, but because they say they buy from Dangote and the quality is quite good. I've heard someone say that fuel lasts almost twice what it used to last. So I think that quality is always very important. People like to pay for quality. I think the average Nigerian would rather pay for good quality than something that will damage their cars over time. So I think that the midstream and downstream petroleum regulatory authority needs to do more around ensuring that the quality is at least the de minimis quality we expect, because the PIA states what that quality should be, right? There's an African or West African quality specifically written out in the PIA. So that should be the minimum anyone brings in, and what sulfur parts per million. All of that is stated in the laws. So it's implementation. To be honest, it's largely implementation and then ensuring that people do what they ought to do. It may take a while, but let's start. Yeah, that's my view. So many factors come together to determine what pricing is and to determine issues around sourcing.
Right.
But approving this new some of the deals, the divestment deals, I believe that these guys would then add more to crude oil production. Kepler, Renaissance, Capel, all of those guys will add more to our production. So that may also ease things up, because they too would have a domestic reserve obligation, food reserve obligation.
Mr. Oni, thank you very much for your time and your expertise on this conversation.